Hey, welcome back to the Ernest P YouTube channel. I'm Ernest. Today we're going to be replacing the wheel bearing on my wife's car. So we've got a new wheel bearing here. This is the little pressed in style wheel bearing. So we've got a kit to remove that. And we'll go over how to do that, and I'll leave the kit link, the exact one I'm using, in the description down below. Maybe give you a couple of options of what tools you might need. But we'll dig into it. We've got the car jacked up safely. We'll take the tire off and we'll meet you there. All right, now we've got that tire off. You can kind of see what we're dealing with here. So we've got the brake rotor, the brake caliper, and we're gonna have to take both of these off. So the caliper will come off first, and then what we're gonna do is take off this axle nut right here. So we'll take out this pin, which you can see there, and then we'll undo this nut and then push that back. So I'll probably go over that in more detail when we get to it. For right now, we'll take off these two things, and again, we'll catch up when we get to that point. All right, so 2 bolts on the back side of that caliper. In this case, both 17 millimeter, and then that brake rotor comes right off. So now here's where we're at. We'll be able to see this assembly when we take this axle nut off and push this axle back out through there. We're gonna have to completely remove the axle, so we'll either take the ball joint off or just remove the strut from it. We'll check in again. We'll go ahead and just remove this axle nut and get this axle pushed back out of the way so we can see what we're dealing with here. Okay, so we've got that pin removed. Now we'll take our impact hammer. You could probably use a long breaker bar and an axle nut and remove that. Okay, so this one's a 30 millimeter. We've got our impact gun on here, and it'll come right off. Now again, you can probably use a breaker bar, and let's see. So I can see this axle's already moving, so it's not seized in there. This wheel bearing is going out, so I'm assuming there's quite a bit of heat building up in there, so it probably didn't really have time to seize up, or if it ever did, it probably, you know, with the heat shrink and swell, unseized. But if it is seized up, you can put, what you want to do is take this nut, put it back on there, and then gently tap on the nut itself and see if that comes loose. If you have to put any more force on there, then you'll want to flush these ends up right here and then hit on that with a hammer. You can also use like a pulley puller, something that'll grab on like the outside here and push in the middle. And obviously, rather than pulling this assembly out, it's going to push that axle back in. There's a few things you can do. You might have to heat it up a lot. In this case, we don't have to go over any of those, but you do want to be careful. The only thing to make note of is don't hit these too hard when they're exposed, or you can bend these, and don't hit this when it's exposed, or you can mushroom that tip out and then you won't be able to put the nut back on when you're finished. So you just want to be careful and see what works best for you. But in this case, we'll go ahead and remove this washer as well. And again, you can see the heat build up in there, so it's pretty hot, but that axle isn't seized in there. So we'll go ahead and tie this caliper up so it's out of the way, and we'll get this control arm outer knuckle here moved out of the way, and get this axle out, and then press that bearing in and out. All right, so now we've got this outer part of this steering mechanism here undone. What we're gonna do is undo this tie rod here so that we can completely turn this knuckle and move it around, and then we'll be able to push this axle all the way out and get to that wheel bearing. All right, now that we've undone this tie rod outer end, you can see that we can just completely move this steering knuckle around, which is going to give us the amount of space that we need in order to press this axle out. So we'll go ahead and give it some light taps here, and then we'll push this axle all the way out. With it bent like this, we can pull it out, and that axle will be able to just come off to the side and rest here. All right, there you can see we've got this axle all the way taken out. Now here's what we're dealing with here is the wheel bearing inside of here. Let's see if we can get a good view of it. It's right here. See how much play is in there? This has been pretty bad for a few months. I just haven't had time to get to it. What we've got to do is remove this retaining ring on the back side here, and then I'll show you how to set up that press and push this bearing out. All right, so we completely just undid this control knuckle here, the steering knuckle. We took it off of the strut off of the ball joint, made sure that this wheel speed sensor was disconnected, and I just put it here. So what I'm gonna have to do now is put it on 2 blocks and then find a socket that fits this perfectly here, this inner ring, and we have to push this out because this is a, I don't know what it's called, the outer part with the wheel studs and the little spines for the axle there. So we'll have to push that out, and then we'll have to pull the bearing out itself using a different tool, and then we can push them all together with the same tool, but we have to get this out first. So I went ahead and undid this snap ring that was holding that in with the screwdriver. Just be careful because it's a snap ring, so it can come flying out. And now I've got this socket that fits perfectly on here, so I'm just going to give that a tap with my 3-pound hammer here and drive that out the bottom. So you can see those studs are off the ground. That's it. We'll just go ahead and drive that out, and I'll check back in when I got that done. All right, perfect. So that was pretty easy. We'll just check now and make sure that part of that wheel bearing didn't stay behind, and it looks like it did, since that wheel bearing was just so beat up. There you can see the old ball bearings in there. So now we'll just go ahead and get this off. I'll probably use some sort of puller on this, and yeah, I'll check back in. All right, so here's what I ended up doing. I just got 2 blocks of wood and 2 brake rotors, and I put them in just enough to grab onto that with that, and I took that socket and hit it. I won't be able to do it with both hands, but you know, just imagine, because I'm holding this one with my foot and pushing the other one. You can come up with whatever you want, but this worked for me. I thought about heating it up at first, well, I tried to, but just didn't get hot enough soon enough. I got impatient, so I tried this, and it worked. Just a quick tap, and that should come out. But let me see if I can set it up here and show you if you can see that. If not, oh well. And there it is. So yeah, that bearing just broke, but yeah, we'll put some anti-seize on everything, just a thin coat before we put it all back in, and then I'll show you how it's pressed in. That press will press these in, but if it has one of these, then you have to get this off first before you can use that kit. So it's just part of the game. So figured out how to get it off, and we'll go ahead and put it all back together. I'll show you how that looks. All right, this has turned into quite the little project, but we'll get the spacer that fits just perfectly back there, and you want the flat side to go up against it, and then just like a ball joint press, you want the cup end to go on the other side. So that's what it looks like, and you'll just put a wrench on either end, you know, on both ends. You're not supposed to use an impact driver, so we'll respect their wishes and just use a wrench on this one. But you just tighten it down, and you know, you hold one end and tighten the other, or vice versa, and that will come sliding out the other end. So once that pops out, we'll press the new one back in, and again, I'll show you what that looks like before we do it. All right, that was a lot harder than anticipated. Alas, it has come out. I mean, that was like super hard. I ended up using the impact wrench, so I'll never be able to warranty these tools if they break, but there was nothing I could do otherwise. It's been probably an hour. So yeah, just a matter of getting the right parts on there, and because that bearing broke, it was harder to push through, so I ended up like putting it back together to push it through. But yeah, it's out, so we'll push that other one in. It shouldn't be as hard to push it in. I'll show you how it's set up here in a second. All right, so there it is, back in. Pretty straightforward. Yeah, works well. Definitely new and nice. So we'll go ahead and put everything back together just like we took it apart, and we'll do that quickly. All right, got the strut reconnected. Reconnect the outer tie rod end to make sure you put that pin back in place. If not, just replace it. Reinstall the axle nut. And its corresponding pin. Reinstall the brake disc. And the caliper. Make sure all the wires and sensors are plugged back in and hooked up correctly, that these cables and hoses aren't kinked or anything like that. And last but not least, we'll put that tire back on. And there you have it. That's how you change a wheel bearing on a front wheel drive vehicle using a press kit. So I'll leave again link in the description for that tool if you want to get it. And thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing and liking. This has been the Ernest P YouTube channel, and check back for more tutorials. Thanks again for watching. As always, have a good day and peace out.